What's up, what's up, what's up? It's Curry Spice back with another video. And I'm here, I'm off. Guess you could say I'm on vacation. I won't be going back to work until about a week from now, if everything works out the way it's planned to. So I was gonna make this kind of like an outdoor video, but it's really cold out. So I think I'll be talking about something that has been weighing on my heart for a few days. And it's something called judgment. People have the tendency to judge things about what other people do with their lives. And I think people have the tendency to judge when there's an idea that is peculiar to someone. And they notice that people around them act in such a way and make choices in their life in such a way that differs from others around them. And instead of sticking to the system, whatever it is the system is saying that you need to do in order to be a kind of obedient person who is not an outsider by any means, and someone who follows rules, they follow the traditional order of what's expected as far as you, in terms of living your life. We have to live life in a way that's best suited for us, even if others don't agree with it. So what I've been doing in my personal growth journey is making sure that I follow my heart and not caring what people think. And it can be difficult, but even coming from a person who you value so much, like even if the opinions coming from them, get with a grain of salt, because you know what's best for your own personal life. And everything you've been through in your life is a significant factor as far as how you make decisions and what you decide is appropriate for your lifestyle. Whereas someone else on the outside looking in would see your situation and say, are you fucking crazy for even thinking about doing something like that? You know, because it's not something that they would do in their own personal life. Like, for example, I met my husband, well, actually, I got married to my husband 17 years ago. And there are some people who did not like the way we met. It didn't sit well with them. It did not sit well. I met him over the internet. And we talked for a while, and he was very respectful. And 4.5 months later, with only having a relationship over the internet, 4.5 months later, I flew out here to California from New York, my place of residence and place of birth. So I didn't know this guy, even though we had talked for 4.5 months on and off, but I didn't have much to go on. All I had was my instinct. And I trusted my instinct enough to let him pay for a one-way ticket for me to fly out to see him and live the rest of my life with him. I don't regret at all the way that happened. Because like I said, it was over 17 years ago. And we're still married. And it was my intuition that helped to guide me through that. And if I had the chance to do that all over again, I would do everything the exact same way. It was always my dream to come live in California ever since I was a little kid. I don't know if the movies had something to do with it. It probably did. But that was one of my dreams that I had fulfilled. And also another dream is I always wanted a daughter named Odyssey from when I was a little girl. Don't ask me why. But I got my wish. I have a daughter named Odyssey. And I always wanted to live in California. And it's my two dreams that were fulfilled from a little girl. And I'm very grateful for the way everything played out. Is my life peaches and cream right now? No. Because of other reasons. But life happens. We can't really beat ourselves up for things that happened to us in our past. Because whatever worked for you in that moment, 10 years or 15 years or even 20 years down the line, it may not work for you in the same way. That's actually funny how that works. Because I think we have the tendency to believe that if something works for you once, it's always going to work. That's not the case. It's really not. Because there's different factors that play into it. I mean, you have different mindset. That's one of the big factors that play into it is your mindset. Mindset is everything. It really is. And that was my whole point for this personal growth journey, is to adopt a new mindset. So I can change old habits, create new and healthy habits that generate wealth. That was my whole point for this personal growth journey. So, to be a better person and to always strive for the best. Because there's nowhere to go but up. You can always go up, but it's up to you. Because no one can force you to climb stairs. You have to climb the stairs on your own. You have to climb them on your own. And you have to climb them in your own time. So, I realized I was talking to someone today about how people judge others and it's not justified because whatever I do in my personal life may differ from what someone else does in their personal life because we have different experiences and we have different belief systems. So, and what I said, it really just flabbergasted me because I can't believe it came out of my mouth, is that people accentuate their own ignorance when they judge. That was profound when I said that. I wanted to write it down. That's how profound it was. And it's so true. Because I can never judge a drug addict for their addiction if I've never been a drug addict. So it's that same kind of idea. So that's the premise behind it. That's like, so once you think about it in that way, you'll never judge again. You'll never judge again. There's ways you can judge, and it's coming from more of a place where you're trying to just ensure your own security and your own safety, which is what I do in my personal growth journey, where I discern who I should continue talking with on a friendship level and who I should maybe fall back and keep a safe distance from. And that's a form of judgment, but it's more for my own protection. And it's not anything to tell the person that they're not living the right life, but it's more so that I don't want to fall complacent with my growth. I don't want to fall stagnant and not grow because of my surroundings and who I choose to associate with. So, and I think some people wouldn't be able to understand something like that, because on the surface it just still looks like judging, and I understand that, but it's not judging in the way that it might seem on the surface. As I don't have as many friends as I used to. When I say friends, I mean like people who I can call and they could support me and be there for me every step of the way, and just kind of, just kind of, how do you even say? Like, be there for me through thick and thin and support me the way I feel I need to be supported. And I would love to be able to support someone the way that they need to be supported. And my resources are limited. Their resources may be limited. So I want to be able to, I guess, in a way, kind of like get back what I lost when my grandmother passed away, because she was my mother and she was my father. And when she died when I was 14, that unraveled my world. It really did unravel my world. And I'm still grieving from it. And it's been like, over 20 years since that happened. Actually, 23 years since she died. And I can't believe it's been that long, because it feels like it was only yesterday. I don't understand where the time is going. But I've been struggling ever since. Adulting is extremely hard. It's very hard, and but I'm doing it. I do want to prosper. So yeah, so my circumstances have warped my way of thinking. So I have my grandmother passing away at such a young age. She was in the middle of raising me when she died. And then I also have my parents were never there for me the way I wanted them to be. And that was confusing because I felt like there was something wrong with me. And then I also had, my daughter came in. And then I also had, I was molested by my uncle. I have that weighing over my head. Then I have 2 other people who molested me on top of that. But that was more consensual, but it wasn't really consensual because I was still a minor. So I was molested by more than one person. But the molestation incident that really impacted me the most for the negative is the one by my uncle. And I'm still struggling with that till this day. It didn't always bother me because I was able to live around it without it haunting me. Because I used to get nightmares as a kid. And sometime after I got married, shortly after I got married, the nightmares slowly stopped. So perhaps that was my way of evolving and not letting the situation define me. So once I went to college and I started to work for the Women's Gender and Equity Center, which is centered around women who have been abused, that's when I started to get triggered. So there were certain events that I didn't want to be a part of because it would just hit a little too close to home. But other than that, I was able to talk to other people and be able to get them to, like, be able to console them and tell them, like, like, I'm so sorry this happened to you and it's not your fault and you can come up on top. Like, you definitely can come up on top. And don't let anyone tell you that your feelings aren't valid, because they are. And so I can talk to people about it, but when it came to fixing my own problems with molestation, I just kind of stuffed it down so I wouldn't have to think about it. And I let life get the best of me. I let life distract me to the point where I didn't have to really think about it. I didn't really have to face it. Until recently, I was getting these letters from my uncle that I thought was dead. The uncle who molested me. And he sent me a couple of letters over the holidays that just passed. And I still didn't open the letters. I still didn't open them. And I texted, I'm not going to show you because I want to conceal his identity. I know what he did was not right, but I still don't want to out him. I can out him in the sense where I'm talking about what happened, but I'm not going to slander him as far as, like, putting his name out there and, like, making it known that it was him, So I'm still going to protect his identity. But yeah, so I just... And you know what? If you're a victim of molestation, and if you don't want to protect your molester's identity, then don't. Just because I'm doing that doesn't mean you have to do that. So anyway, but yeah, I have a lot that I go with. There's a lot in my life, and I really would not want someone to judge me for decisions I make because it doesn't make sense to them. Because everything I do in my life is cumulative. It all is based on what's happened to me in the past. So whatever happened to me and whatever decisions I'm making in my life, you have to have compassion. You have to have compassion. Not just for me, but just for anyone in that kind of situation. Even like a serial killer, you have to have compassion to an extent, because you could research what led to their frame of mind and why are they the way that they are. It's always a deeper reason behind it. So think about that before you judge, because judging is poison, and you wouldn't want somebody to do that to you. You do not want somebody to judge you. So think about that. Really think about that. So I just wanted to talk about that. And that's it. I'll be looking forward to spicing your life up one episode at a time. And I know there's like a deeper, heavier topic. And I didn't get all deep into it because I have the letter, which I'm not even sure if I'm going to open it up yet or at all. But I texted him because he also messaged me on my husband's phone. So I messaged him back from my phone, from like a Google Voice number. And I just told him, just don't try to come visit me. Because he was trying to come visit my state of residence to see if we can catch up. And he wanted to buy me lunch. And no, we're not there. And it's never going to happen. So I didn't want to entertain that. I wanted to be truthful. And my whole reason for coming out here is I wanted to be able to live a life away from my childhood. That's why I left New York and came here to California. But yeah, I just wanted to give you my 2 cents. But as always, looking forward to spicing up your life one episode at a time. And if you can relate, please comment in the section down below if you've ever been judged and you hated it and you felt like the person wasn't seeing your side. They only cared about their side of it. They really weren't trying to put themselves in your shoes. So, take care. Bye.